Once outside, I'm met by the cool breeze of the night. Nicholas and Almond are nowhere to be seen, which unfortunately leaves me by myself with a huge angry wolf, whom is leaning on a pillar, his eyes locked on the distant city which can be seen from here. Took you long enough. It's this way. Don't fall behind. He turns around, giving his back to me and heading toward the end of the hallway, not saying another word. His tone is still cold and distant, but it's not hateful and furious anymore. I wonder if something happened. Either way, I follow him through the many hallways of the castle. He told me to keep up the pace, but I can't help and be a little curious about this place. Everything is so new to me. I've never been to a palace after all. Taking a look around as we walk, I can see a few candles lighting the corridors. There are also some banners and fancy-looking portraits hanging from the wall. On them, I can see paintings of landscapes and wolves wearing fancy-looking costumes. The royal family, I presume. This is a specific portrait that catches my eye. In it, you can see the old king, who must be in his 50s or 40s. Accompanying him are two young teenage wolves, I'm guessing his two sons. There are many rumors surrounding them, as nobody knows for sure what happened to them. What? Hurry up! I hear Roderick yelling from the end of the hallway. I take a last glance at the portrait before heading his way. After many more steps, we finally reach a very big wooden door. He stops so suddenly that I end up bumping into him, and he doesn't budge an inch. Is this guy really a canine? He could be a bear in disguise if you ask me. Scary animals, I tell you. Mr. Biscotti and I got attacked by one once. The king is waiting for you inside. Try anything, and this time I won't hesitate, understood? I'm not wanting to get on his bad side. Not more than I already have. He says nothing else afterwards, pushes the door open for me, and standing still by the entrance. The first thought that comes to my mind as I see the room behind the door is huge. This place is ridiculously enormous. There are row after row of pillars on each side, many windows, and a huge red carpet leading to a throne. It's a very big and nicely decorated chair, but aside from that, it's just a glorified seat. The king is currently sitting on it, looking as old as always, no surprise there. Come closer, boy. I do as he requests, walking a few steps closer to the throne. This room is very spacious, so it takes me like 30 seconds to actually reach this side. Impressed? You should see the throne room at the royal castle. That one is 10 times bigger. Up close, I can finally notice how tiny he looks compared to how tiny he looks sitting on this huge chair. His legs don't actually reach the ground, yet he sits high up and tries to look as imposing as physically possible for him. His body language doesn't match his tone because he's speaking very casually to me, like I was his long-lost grandson, or that survivor he gives to me. Still, I can't help but feel uneasy. I'm not sure how to address this man. I don't want to seem disrespectful. Should I kneel? Better safe than sorry. I decide to lean on my knee and bow in front of him, looking straight to the ground as I do so. It's not really necessary, my boy. Please stand up. Yes, my king. I stutter in my words as I stand back up. I don't like the idea of talking to him like this, not after what I did. I appreciate that he didn't kill me, but somehow it just feels wrong that he's this calm about it. Don't be so tense, boy. I just wish to have a casual conversation with you. I was actually planning on inviting you for dinner, but you were asleep for longer than I expected. If by asleep you mean unconscious, then yeah, I guess that's fair. I'm not sure of what to say, so I just listened to him talk. May I know your name? I'm sure you must be tired of me calling you boy all the time. Ellie, sir, that's my name. He places his hand on his gray beard. I can't really tell by his expression, but it seems like he's lost in thought. I stare at him like a little too long, and eventually our eyes meet. I look away immediately, both in shame and fear. He sighs at that, but his smile never leaves his face. Are you sorry for what you did, Ellie? The question catches me off guard. I can feel the same eating me from the inside, making me feel like that time when I got arrested. Shit, I just keep messing up. Why can't I do anything right? I am, sir. I really am. It takes me a moment to actually formulate the right words. The explosive, I didn't know that it would be so big. They didn't tell me it would be that large. I'm not trying to make excuses, I swear. I really didn't know. I begin to get worked up, but he calms me down by raising his hand and signals me to slow down. It's okay. Don't fret, Ellie. I can see that your heart is in the right place. If nothing, it's my fault as a king that such a young soul ended up like this. As he says that, the old man looks legitimately angry to the point that I can notice him gripping his cane harder. It takes him a moment to recover his calm demeanor, but as soon as he does, his smile returns to his face. How old are you, boy? I'm 21, sir. Not technically true, but I'm just 1 week away from my birthday, so I guess it doesn't really matter. And all your companions as young as you? Companions? You also mentioned that someone didn't tell you about how big the bomb was. May you tell me who they are? Damn it, I let that slip. He confused me with all that nice talk and how he has me right where he wants me. The old man is playing his part as the good guard perfectly, luring me to believe I was safe with him. Has this been a trick from the start? Will he just kill me once he gets the information he needs? Will he do that, though? Is this man that kind of a person? I quite don't know. I've never been in a situation like this. Maybe I should just tell him all he needs to know. Maybe he'll be merciful if I spill the beans. But should I really do that? Am I really going to betray them like this? I mean, this might save my neck and they are not exactly my friends. But being a dirty snitch just feels wrong. I don't know, sir. They hired me because I'm good at picking locks, but I have no connection to them. The king remains silent as he seems to be pondering my words. My palms are sweating and I'm pretty sure I must be shaking. Alright, one last question before we continue. Roderick insisted that I ask you this. How did you acquire such a big explosive? Did your people strike a deal with someone? Anything you can tell me is welcome. It figures that it would look suspicious for some street no ones to own such a dangerous weapon. But what led him to believe there was a third party involved? See, now I also want to know whom this benefactor was. Sadly, this time I can't tell him anything, even if I wanted to. I'm actually not sure, sir. They said they got it from a guy, but they never mentioned a name or even a race. This time I'll try to be as thankful as I can to him. Leave all the details about the gang out of course. Those jerks better thank me properly if I make it out alive, that is. Alright then, the serious talk is over. Walk with me, Ellie. The king throws his crown at me, and I barely catch it. Is he crazy? Isn't this thing worth like $1 million? He just nods and smiles before standing up. Good catch. You have excellent reflexes, my boy. Thank you. I reluctantly place the crown on the ground, keep an eye on the old man's movements in case he wants to throw something else at me. But he doesn't. Instead, he just moves past me, walking to the other side of the hall. So, I follow. Why don't you tell me a little about yourself, Ellie? He looks back at me expectantly, making me feel even more nervous than before, as he now wants me to do the talking. I don't know what to say, sir. I enjoy reading. Oh, you do? That's wonderful, boy. Books are so interesting, aren't they? I guess so. Is this man for real? What the hell do you want from me, old man? Get to the point. Have you read the Holy Scriptures? It's well known that the young ones don't really care about them much, but I think we should all read them at least once in our life. I have read them, sir. I have lied again. I mean, I've glanced through them, but I've never been truly interested in our Savior's words and teachings. I guess I still believe in what my mother told me, even if the rest of the world seems to be oblivious about the existence of the apostle. And where do you hail from, Ellie? You're not from Yagner, are you? I'm from a no-name village to the southwest. I see you've come from far away then. Have you enjoyed your stay in the city? I think a smile, trying to make it look as genuine as possible. If you knew all the awful things that your Sihir guards do, I'm sure that beard of yours will fall off. But our friend, it's probably not the best moment to trash talk about that, at least not in the front of the king. To some extent, yes, it's been interesting. There's no real need to lie, boy. I've been surrounded by scheming snakes for longer than I like to admit. I know how to recognize a fake smile when I see one. Besides, I know the situation in town isn't the best. Even as he said that, his smile returned to his face as if he found the whole thing amusing. That makes me angry because I can't help but think about all the people that suffer daily because of this jerk's incompetence. I grip my fist and give him a nasty look, but he returns a smile instead. Yes, I know what you're thinking. Why haven't I done anything, correct? If you always knew, then why? Why do you let them suffer like that? Do you know how hard it is to make it to the end of the day? When people struggle and all you guys do is sit your asses on your expensive chairs and let my anger get the best of me. I clearly stepped out of line, but screw it. It's so frustrating to see him laughing about it when hundreds suffer. The man remains quiet, but as I stop my wubbling, a sad smile crosses his face. Because I can't. Sadly, this is not my kingdom anymore. I've outgrown my responsibilities. And now I'm just a useless old fool. His answer takes me by surprise. He's not mad at me for yelling. He just seems angry at himself. But you, my boy, you're the way of hope I've been looking for years. I'm sure that the goddesses brought you to me for a purpose. He looks at the sky through one of the windows. He's still smiling. Me, on the other hand, I'm as confused as ever. What does that mean? Let an old man have his secrets. I'm sure you'll find out in due time. He says nothing after that. We just stand there in silence. He looks outside, but I look at him, try to process what he just told me. But as hard as I try to think of a reason, I can't find any. Ellie, tell me, are you aware of what happened to my sons? I took my head, unsure what to say. I merely know the rumors. Supposedly they went on a trip to the border of the territory. As they passed by the mountains, they got attacked. One of the king's sons was murdered and the other ended up injured. Truthfully, nothing has ever been confirmed. I just know they got attacked, nothing else. It was about 26 years ago, my boy. My second grandkid had just been born. His father, my older child, had to go with his brother to a political meeting. I can still remember the look on his face. He was rather worried as he had to leave his little baby at my care. Save for my younger son as he left me with his kid as well. His puppy was older though, 2 years older if memory serves me right. He chuckled sadly, keeping his eye glued to the moon. Luckily for me, the maids were there to help, or else I wouldn't have been able to take care of those little rascals on my own. He laughed once more, and I just stared dumbfoundedly at him, still unsure of where he wants to go with all this. A week after, a messenger told me that Marcus had died and Richard would soon follow him. Luckily, the goddesses blessed me and decided not to take my younger son with them as well. Still, they took his sight. I was devastated. My 2 boys were ripped away from me just like that. That day I made an oath to make this kingdom a safer place and still be king while doing so. It's been almost 30 years since then, and I've done nothing. I feel bad for the little man in front of me. I often call him useless, but I've never stopped to think just how hard it must be to run a kingdom, especially at his age. Is that why you haven't passed the crown yet? I would like to think so, but things are never as simple as they seem. Never get that, boy. Afraid to leave me wondering. Half the things this man says makes no sense. Sir, why are you telling me all this? Finally, I managed to snap his attention back to me. Would it be enough if I told you that an old man just wants some company? There are many scenarios where that is a valid answer, but not this one. I really want to know, sir. Mind if we walk a little before I answer your questions? There's no real need to rush things. I saw but the man decided to walk a few steps around the room, not paying much attention to me anymore. I just limit myself to follow beside him, given the company he claims he wants. The old man clearly knows something I don't, and I'm falling right on his game. But what are we even playing? What does he want from me? After a few minutes, he finally stops, the light of the moon reflecting on his gray fur. Alright then, now that I've stretched my legs, I feel rather honest. Tell me, what do you want to know? The first question that comes to my mind is a rather obvious one. Will I be able to leave the island anytime soon? The old man places his hand on his chin and caresses his beard slowly. I look at it with anticipation and wait for the answer. I think that for now the best is to keep you here, but you're not a prisoner, Ellie. You'll be able to leave if you prove yourself to be trustworthy. Please try to understand. You attempted to steal from the king. You could have killed me with that explosive. That's high treason, no matter how you look at it. I sighed, not surprised at all. I knew it wouldn't be so easy, but it didn't hurt to try. May I request something then? He nods, taking his eyes off of me and directing them towards the moon once again. Anything else you need? Well, all there is left to know is, why am I here? Is there something you need from me? Are you saying you don't want to be here? No, sir. That's not what I mean. I know nothing about your intentions. I'm just a stray from the street. Yet you say that I'm the hope. Why? Oh, Ellie, I was just joking, my boy. Don't make that face. I can't help but feel frustrated as he seems to take nothing seriously. Please, sir, just help me understand the situation better. Yes, of course, I understand. But like I said, I can't reveal all my cards, at least not yet, boy. What does that even mean? Is he actually just trying to play some sort of sick, twisted game with me? Damn it. I hate being left out in the dark like this. Considering my options, I think the best one is to keep playing along as best as I can. What card can you reveal then? The old man takes a few steps closer to me and places his hand on my shoulder. I have a proposition for you. His smile widens as he takes his time to formulate the next sentence. Ellie, how would you like to become my retainer? I stare at him, not really sure what he means by that. What is a retainer, actually? I'm sorry, what? The old man laughs at my ignorance, total discarding violence on this one. I'm giving you a job, young fox. A very well paid one at that. You'll just have to keep me safe and keep me company from time to time. I can get rather lonely in this castle after all. I'm taken aback by this. He's not being serious. He can't be. Me? Ain't nobody from the streets working for the king himself. There's just no way. But sir, I'm nothing but a lowlife. I'm no knight, no warrior. Of course, but that doesn't indicate your real worth. I can sense it, boy. You have potential. So don't worry, it has all been taken care of. Starting tomorrow, you'll be instructed both academically and physically. He had all this planned from the get-go. What does this guy's deal with me? There has to be a reason behind it. Gee, I feel so powerless right now. I hate it. I remain quiet as I try to focus on my thoughts, which seems to be all over the place. But then the king calls, bringing my attention back to him. So what's your answer, Ellie? As if I have any choice to begin with, and he knows it. That's why he has that damn cheeky smile on his face. I'll need to accept, but I'm not giving him the satisfaction to know how annoyed I am. Well played, Your Majesty. I will be honored, Your Majesty. How splendid. I look forward to seeing your progress. The king playfully slaps my butt and laughs it off soon after as if nothing happened. See what the heck is wrong with this old man. But it's rather late. You better hit the bed, boy. You have a busy day tomorrow. Sir Roderick, please come in. He yells loudly, and soon after the door opens. The knight enters the room with a sore look on his face on my end, which he tries to hide with a frown as soon as he sees me looking at him. Sir Roderick, great news. Sir Ellie accepted my offer and will be working with us, starting tomorrow, of course. So I've heard. He says with a certain annoyed tone on his voice, but this time I can't tell if he's mad or just tired. Either way, I don't interrupt them. I've learned to remain quiet around Roderick. If you may, escort Sir Ellie back to his room. He must be greatly tired. As you wish, my king. He bows once more and then turns around towards the door. He doesn't spare me one single look, but I'm sure I must follow. So I give the king one last smile before setting off to the hallway. Back to my room it is. After a little walk, we return to the tower where my room is at. This time, I'm a little out of breath as we had to climb many stairs to get back here. I'm so ready to hit the hay, but as I went to open the door, hold it! The knight grabs my wrist and holds me in place. It seems like that has become a habit between us. He's not inflicting any pain, but he's not letting me go either. So I am not sure what I should do. Ah, dang. Can't he just let me be for once? Listen, what? The king is a very kind man. More kind than I would like, but I have no right to complain about that. His face seems tired for a moment, but he soon regains his usual aggressive self. He then gets closer to me, making me feel a little uncomfortable. My point is, while I don't trust you, I respect his choice to take you in. So you better make sure not to screw this up, or else I'll make you regret it. His eyes lock with mine, and this time I get a real good glance at them. They're as red as blood, and they seem to be full of conviction. I nod slowly and carefully, his face mere inches away from mine. I can even feel his hot breath hitting against my nose. He's out of breath as well, so I guess I'm not the only one who got tired by the stairs. Good. And with that, he lets go of me, turning around and slowly walking away until he disappears at the end of the hall. I'll remain there for a while, still feeling the pressure of his hand on my wrist. I guess my life won't ever be the same again. I better start getting used to all this, because for now, this craziness turns into my reality. I can feel something. Is this a dream? I'm just floating in nothingness. The more I try to focus, the more lost I fear. I feel as if all my senses have been numbed completely, or as if I don't exist at all. Then I begin to hear it. A whisper more like a mumbled speech. Whatever it is, now I know I'm not alone. The voice is forcing its way inside my head, and I can't stop it, even though it's painful. I have no hands to cover my ears with. I'm feeling frightened, and my body knows that this presence is bad news. This being is making me really uncomfortable. But I don't know where it is, I just know it's near. Its whispers fill my ears, ringing through my whole body and making it impossible for me to focus on anything else. What is it saying? I can't understand it. Suddenly, a jolt of pain runs through my spine. I can feel again. I came back, but not really. Is this really my body? Am I really here? Is this really me, or am I just an illusion? Am I a lie? Everyone lies. Everyone has something to hide. That hurts them, but they still do it because it will hurt even more to tell the truth. That's why I can't trust anybody. Everyone's my enemy. I'm all alone. For the past 10 years, I've been lying to myself, trying to find happiness when I know there's no such thing. Maybe I should just... I want you to live a happy life, Ellie. That's all I've ever wished for. A quick flash of my mom's last words sent the intrusive thoughts out of my head and set the whispers for good. But before the presence vanishes, I needed to ask it something. Who are you? I'm the one who remains in the dark. Hey, wake up. I cover my face as I feel the piercing light of the morning hurting my sensitive pupils, and I see a catalyst standing by the window as he pulls the blinds wide open. I grunt and roll around in bed, wishing for just a few more minutes of blissful sleep. I try to go back to that dream I was having, but it's no use because it's gone. My mind just erased it. I feel like I'm forgetting something. What was I dreaming about? You really are a heavy sleeper. I tried knocking, but it was no use, so I let myself in. I stood on the bed's edge, rubbing my eyes as I tried to get rid of the morning drowsiness. Soon I noticed that being sleepy isn't the only morning syndrome that I have. I tried to play it cool, covering my manhood with my hands as I look away. It's past the 8th hour. Your tutoring lessons begin at once. So make yourself decent. Can you give me a minute? What for? We don't have all day. Deciding not to respond to his question, he seemed to notice the position of my hands and understands what is going on. Yes, I should give you some time then. His cheeks grow red and mine get even redder. Then our eyes meet for a second and he ends up panicking, hitting himself with the door on his way out. I remained there, trying to calm my beating heart and my beating liver as well. Shit, that was so embarrassing. After a little, Ellie finally calms down. I decide to get up from the bed and stretch my sore muscles. That bed really is a blessing. I've never felt so good in my life. Looking around, I noticed that my clothes have been neatly folded on top of the desk. My pants, noticing that they feel fresh and clean. So I take my shirt and sniff it. It is clean, and it smells so nice. But who did it though, and when? Gee, I really am a heavy sleeper. Didn't even notice when someone came in to grab my things. Well, don't use thinking about that now. I better let Nicholas know that I'm finished. I'm ready. You can come in. The tall guy enters the room, keeping his eyes away from mine. It's okay. I'm set and ready to go. He still looks nervous, but tries to compose himself as he walks to the other end of the room. He then places some books and papers on top of my desk. So, tutoring? Yes, tutoring. You'll be the king's retainer from now on, so I'm in charge of your education. As if I didn't have enough work already. He whispers that to himself, probably thinking that I didn't hear him. He organizes some of the things he brought with him and then takes a seat, pulling up another chair. He seems uninterested though, as he's currently looking outside through the window. His face is calm but seems somewhat sad at the same time. It takes me a while to understand, but he's clearly waiting for me to sit there. He stops me before I can sit down as I lazily walk towards the chair. I told you to get decent. There's water right there. Wash your face. I'm not sure if I should take that as an insult or not, but either way I decide to obey. I make my way towards the barrel placed in the corner of the room, which is indeed filled with water. If you want to take a proper bath, you can do it after the class. For now, just make sure you're awake. We're on schedule. I nod to that, holding the edge of the barrel with my hands and gulping before I decide to get my head in there. I hold my breath and submerge my head into the barrel. Being under the water clears my mind for a moment. It's a little hypnotic, making me wish to stay there for a while. It's a nice sensation and it reminds me of something, but I can't put my finger on what it is. I feel like I'm surrounded by nothingness. I get out of the water as soon as I hear that creepy voice. I've heard it before, but what is it? Do you hear that? Hear what? He raises one eyebrow back at me, which is proof enough that he didn't hear a thing. Maybe I'm just tired. Maybe it must be that. No, never mind. It was nothing. I offer him a smile, but he just shrugs it off, taking his eyes off of me and back to the window. After that weird event, I walk back to the desk and he allows me to sit beside him. The fox looks bored. I keep my eyes glued on him, trying to figure him out. I've never seen a fox this tall. His face is long and slim, but that doesn't make him look feminine at all, just sophisticated. To put it somehow, I would call him slim, but he still has a nicely defined muscular body. You there? He catches me red-handed, offering me an odd look. I try to look away, not suspicious behavior at all. He sighs to that, grabbing one piece of paper and placing it between the two of us. It's a map. You sure you're awake now? Your head seems to be in the clouds. Yeah, I'm awake now. I say softly, slapping my face for good measure. So, a map? Yes, a map. Your first lesson will be geography and an overall revision of history. I tip my head to that. Why are we reviewing this? Does he think I'm a damn infant? But I know those things. We'll see about that. Ready? He says it right back at me, making me smile. This guy's tongue is sharp. So I cross my arms and allow him to carry on with his lesson. Alright then, as you probably know, this is the map of our continent named T-Bone. Yes, I know that. Alright then, let's proceed with the 3 known powers or empires of this continent. Do you know the names? Yes, of course, we have the Holy Kingdom of the Kingdoms, Canadia, all the southern and part of the map lights up with a dim red light. I jump to that, but Icarus doesn't move an inch. It's there. This map was built with a specific angle with suns depending on the magic flows that are given by a magician. Me in this case. Oh, that's so awesome. I've never seen this sort of magic. Well, it's not really magic. Most of the work is done by the map itself. Anyone can do it, actually. Even me. I've never used magic in my life. Let's leave that for another class. Please carry on. Okay? I feel a little neglected as she says that. I was so hyped about learning of magic. So the next one would be the Democratic United States of the Birds. They don't have a known name if I'm not mistaken. 100Q, a tiny part of the map, lights up with a blue sign. You know why they don't have a known name for their kingdom? No, not really. I'm sure the old man must have explained it to me at some point, but I completely forgot. Didn't you say you knew all these things? I could hear him chuckle beside me. My cheeks turned red, immediately feeling embarrassed. Well, as you said, there are many states in this kingdom. Thanks to that, they've never managed to use their beloved democracy to agree on something, not even a name. They probably don't like each other much then. Indeed, birds are elitists, and they always fight among themselves, trying to prove they are the best. Those internal conflicts were part of the reason why they lost the first Great War thousands of years ago. As a consequence of losing, their once huge empire got reduced to this. Yeah, before the time of Andreas, the savior, right? It kind of says nothing to that, so I figured that I should ask something else. Was it really that big? Imagine the blue spot combined with the red one, and even some more territory to the east. Whoa, they were huge. Yes, indeed they were, but such a big kingdom was doomed to perish. They ended up falling under the weight of their own ambitions. He then closes his eyes, caressing the pages of the book he's holding. I wonder what's going through his head now. Anyways, please carry on. Oh, okay, yeah. The last one is the feline island, Thenia. Thenia lights up green right at the far east side. Okay, good. But there are two more territories that I wish to discuss. These aren't named as kingdoms and don't follow any specific ruler. Still, that doesn't mean people don't live there. He snaps his fingers and then two more colors light up on the screen. The yellow one you see to the far east are the wastelands. They are inhabited by the many barbaric tribes of Ilisur. Ilisur, the first barbarian that proclaimed his people didn't need any sort of help from the kingdoms, hence separating himself from the rest of the continent. Politically speaking, of course. Why would he do that? Icarus places a hand on his chin, probably trying to remember the many historical facts he's got stuck on that head of his. If I'm not mistaken, when the war was at its highest peak, to join forces with the barbarians as an attempt to counter-attack the Canaanites that were gaining a lot of strength by that time. But the brothers betrayed the barbarians, and as a consequence of that, Ilusur's lover got murdered. Indeed, that's quite tragic. Indeed, our history has countless stories like this one, the continent of conflict. That rings a bell, as I remember reading that phrase in one of the world's encyclopedias the old man owned. Callus the 12th, right? A sad smile crosses his face as he nods, but aside from that, he continues with his explanation. So Ilusur's story inspired the rest of the wasteland tribes to stay neutral, and after many years of conflict, Andreas came and stopped the war against the birds of the felines. The felines too? Yes, they were on the bird side, providing the birds with different ships. Oh, that's new to me. I had no idea the felines were also involved. Most people don't, as they covered their tracks as best they could. They wanted to pretend and be the victims casted away to Thenia by the birds. Yet those hypocrites helped the same nation that once did them harm. Oh, I have another question then. If Andreas stopped the war by the same time Ilusur exiled the tribes, that means they lived by the same age? Indeed, some rumors say that Ilusur was a good friend of King Andreas, but that's just that, a rumor. I'm not happy to see that I'm picking up on things. Having a class like this is far more comfortable than reading those damn encyclopedias. Besides, Icarus is a good teacher. And what about these islands? I always thought they belonged to the Canaanite Empire, but they are marked with a different color. I point towards the purple marked territory, which is all the way to the further south. Those are the Dakota Islands. No one controls that territory, and only pirates go through those waters. Which means that those islands are no man's territory, used by the pirates to do their shady business. As a matter of fact, it is highly likely that the bomb your group sent yesterday was delivered by pirates all the way from Thenia. My blood runs a little cold as I can't help but feel bad about my actions yesterday. I really hope no one got injured. Yeah, we screwed up really badly. Sorry. I'm not here to be your judge, just your teacher. Whatever you did on the past is not my problem. An awkward silence fills the room for a while, so I try to think of a question to break it. And what about this place that has no color in the middle? That is Death Space, also known as the Skulls Valley. For many years, the Canine Kingdom has tried to take it, but the constant attack from barbarians have made that impossible. So it's a war zone. In fewer words, yes, neither the barbarians or the king owns that territory. And a constant battle has been dealt in there for 80 years. None of the two bands has given away that strategic territory, meaning that none can use it. What makes it so special? The placement of the rivers. Having a fortress in between the two rivers will allow the kingdom to have control over the barbarians. And at the same time, it will make the traffic of different products easier. The barbarians know this, that's why they don't allow it. I see. Fills the room again, but this time Icarus of himself is the one who breaks it. Any other questions you might have? No, not for now, at least. Alright then, let's proceed. He moves his fingers around, and suddenly some more lines are drawn to the map, dividing the three kingdoms in many different territories. Alright then, this is the political division of the three kingdoms. As you can see, each one of them are divided by many areas. The ones from the Bird Kingdom are named states, and each is ruled by a selected member of their court or senators. The felines, on the other hand, are divided in provinces, each under the name of their shogun, or ruler, or high ruler. In other words, they're a version of the king, but like us, they have 3 shoguns instead of 1. And last is the Canine Empire, ruled by the king, and subdivided on five viceroyalties. Letters suddenly appear on the map. I recognize all these names as I've been to all these places. The king has total control over 5 of the 6 territories. The church's territory, the only one not controlled by him. Each territory is governed by a different viceroy, who belongs to one of the 5 biggest ruling families in the kingdom, not considering the king's family, of course. The king's family being the most powerful of them. Yes, exactly. The king is a direct descendant of the savior, Andreas himself. That's why he rules over the other 5 with ease. And now as I listen to his words, there are indeed many details that I don't know, so I'm glad he's given me the one-over. What about the birds? What's the name of their states? We won't enter the names of the birds, mainly because there's too many and they're always changing, so there's no real use in learning them. So for now, let's just stick with the names of the canines. And talk about that, as you can see, the name of the biggest territory goes after the name of the royal city, Yagnir, the fallen mother of Andreas. A little white spot on the left side of the map lights up, and Laguna Castle will be. Yeah, very good. That one right across the big lake. Carrying on with the names, north of Yagnir, we have the Holy Congregation of the Balanced Church, which is named Columnia. All this territory belongs to the church. Yeah, the church's power is quite large. That's why the current king must try his best to keep them happy. Besides, looking defeated after saying that, the church must be a better topic for him. Can't help but wonder if something happened. Oh, by the way, I've been wondering, what are you to the king? Whatever do you mean? Like, are you his long-lost cousin or just a friend? He seems a bit taken aback by my question, remaining silent for a while before answering it. I'm just his retainer, just as you. But before you ask, no, that's not all I do for a living, as I must perform my duties as Grand Master of the library as well. Wait, you are the Grand Master? I sounded louder than I intended, clearly annoying him in the process. Sorry, it's just I thought that the Grandmaster would be an old-looking man with a beard. Most of them were, but I had to take the spot when I was 19 years old. Well, that's so young. How old are you? 23. Wow, you're not much older than me. It's quite impressive. You're awesome. As I look up, I can notice some blood showing on his cheeks. This guy gets flustered really easy. Kinda cute. And here I thought we had something in common, being the only fox and all. His face turns angry in a flash, showing me his discontent with my comment. I'm a wolf. Pardon? I'm a wolf, Ellie. A Quinn wolf. Not the first idiot that doesn't know the difference. He whispers that last part again. I'm not sure if he really thinks I don't hear him or he just does it on purpose. Besides, my species has nothing to do with what I do. I've earned this spot by my own merit. What is his problem? I didn't even mean it like that. I just assumed he was a fox. Still looks like a soft spot for him, so I better drop it. I'm sorry, I had no idea. It doesn't matter, let's continue. The wolf begins his usual endeavor, emotionless and calm. Seems like the recess is over. It feels like an eternity, but he finally finishes explaining the other territory to me. There's way too many dates and facts for me to remember. It feels as if I'm reading the encyclopedia, but this one has a voice. The bad side, my hair hurts. The good side, I learned a lot from this class. It's almost time for lunch. We should stop for the day. He finally says, placing the book back on the desk. I can't help but sigh, feeling relieved as my brain was already at the verge of collapse. You survived. I'm impressed. Yeah, very funny, Mr. Smarty Pants. Jokes aside, you should review all I taught you when you have the time, or else you'll forget. With that said, I'm hungry, so I'll see you later. Wolf stands up and walks to the entrance, ready to leave the room. At first I have nothing to tell him, so I'm about to let him leave, but then I remember. Oh wait, Achilles, I have something I want to ask you. Yeah? He says with a tired voice as he turns around. The wolf clearly doesn't want to be here more than necessary. Can you explain to me how magic works? I can't tell that out of my head since you explained to me the whole magical ink thing. At first he seems reluctant to do it, but he suddenly sighs and shrugs his shoulders, uninterested as always. Alright, I see no harm in teaching you the basics. Come outside. Really? You're now signaling me to follow him outside of my room. I open the door for the both of us, allowing the wolf to take a few steps ahead of me. He does so and then turns around, facing me. Why are we here? Well, I'll be demonstrating some, so I would rather do it here or the more open space. Ah, gotcha. Safety first. He just nods and I remain quiet, allowing the wolf to concentrate on whatever thing he's doing. Magician stuff, I guess. First things first, do you know what mana is? Not really. You mentioned it, but I don't really know what it is. I'm guessing it's some sort of energy. He nods, places his hand on his chin as he thinks of something. Mana, also known as Quim, is the raw energy of the world. In simple words, it is the life force of everything. Everyone has Quim inside them, but most people never notice it, as it's a natural thing, such as breathing or taking a shit. Yeah, that's one way to put it. I chuckle a little, as I find it funny to see his usual cold expression shift like that. And I've had the honor to see it a few times today. Anyways, second question, have you ever wondered why people have different eye colors? That's thanks to their parents, right? Not really. There are many cases of children being born with eyes different from their mom or dad. So, to put it simply, when the goddesses gave us their gifts, they came in the form of raw matter. In other words, they created the matter and gave it to us. But as you know, there are 3 goddesses, which means that there are 3 different kinds of mana. The physical mana, given by Grimoon, allows us to be strong and resistant. The soul mana, given by Yume, allows us to connect with others and have emotion. And the mind mana, given by Laguerre, is the one that allows us to understand the world around us. We all have the 3 types of Quem inside of us, but each person has a different type of mana proficiency, represented by the color of our eyes. He points to his eye, which is as blue as the sky. The sons and daughters of Yume have green eyes. They can connect with others and themselves more easily. That's what we call soul magic. That sort of magic allows them to control people's emotions and their state of mind. That sounds scary. He scoffs and rolls his eyes, not paying much attention to my comment. In the wrong hands, any type of magic can be deadly. Anyway, as I was saying, the soul magic can be performed by experienced green-eyed people. On the other hand, we have the red eyes, also known as the sons and daughters of Grimoon. This use of Quem is the most simple of all, as they can control the flow of the matter, channeling it on their own bodies, which gives them impressive physical abilities. The most experienced ones can even channel the Quem on their weapons, making them more resistant and deadly. That would be Wadrick. He nods and says nothing else to that. I wonder if Wadrick is capable of carrying that huge sword thanks to his Quem, or he's just that strong. Time passes, and for a while he stays quiet, with his eyes closed. He seems to be concentrating on something, but I can't tell for sure. Maybe he forgot what he was going to say. As I'm about to approach him, he opens his eyes and lifts up his hand. He looks as if he is holding something, but there's nothing there. Lastly, the sons and daughters of Laguerre have blue eyes, just as myself. We understand the world better, allowing us to control it. We have the power of elemental magic. All of a sudden, a flame ignited on his palm. The air around him turns heavy, and I can't help but feel as if the whole world went dark all of a sudden, as my full attention is on the flame right now. I take a few steps back as I'm reminded of the bad memories I have with fire. Do not worry, I'm very good at controlling the mana. You can even touch my flame. I assure it won't burn you. You crazy? I'm not touching that thing. I grab my hand, holding it close to me as if the flame was already burning it. You can trust me. Come closer. I nervously come close to the flame. It feels warm, but not as a normal fire. This one is quite comforting. I won't hurt you, he says as he probably notices my fear. Okay, I say, getting my hand close to the flame. It flickers but stays calm, not growing wider and not losing control. He really seems to know what he's doing. As close as I get to it, the flame doesn't burn me at all. I eventually cross my fingers with his, joining our hands together. He doesn't seem to mind, and I do really enjoy the sensation of the flame. But there is also the warmth of his hand. It's soft, nice, and very gentle. But I'm not sure if the flame has something to do with that, or if that's just how Icarus's hand is. Soon I end up focusing on Icarus's eyes instead of the flame. They seem to be burning bright as he looks deep into my own eyes. See, it's safe, he softly says, so I nod. At this point, the flame is something secondary. My full attention is on the wolf. I wouldn't hurt you like that. Magic isn't meant to harm. At least that's my personal hypothesis. That's quite noble of you. After I said that, his cheeks began to turn a little red. Seems like he finally noticed how close I am of him. Snapping back to reality, the flame vanishes and he keeps on watching me, not moving an inch, as if he actually turned into ice. He eventually takes my hand off of his, taking a few steps away from me. Anyway, back to the mana. As I've said, most people don't even know it's there, as they believe that only certain gifted ones can control it. But that is not true at all. Everyone can control the Krim. It's just a matter of practice. That puts a smile on my face as I think how cool it would be for me to make magic myself. So how can I learn it? I asked excitedly, but his face turned sour immediately, making me feel nervous. I'm not sure, but aren't you supposed to be like super good at magic? How come you don't know? He places his hand on his chin and sighs deeply. It's not that I can't teach you. It has to do with something with your eyes. I instinctively touched my face as if there was something wrong with it. What does that mean? It has something to do with the color. There's never been anyone with purple eyes before. That's just unheard of. I spent last night trying to search for an explanation in many books, but I haven't found a thing. You're very unique, and I don't know why. I'll try teaching you elemental magic, but don't get your hopes up. For your sake. Even as he says that, I can't help but feel a little bad. Am I really that different? Mom had purple eyes too, after all. Maybe try asking Almond and Sir Roger to teach you about the other Krim uses. Who knows? Hopefully, your eyes are a mere defect of nature, and it won't affect your magical abilities. You really think so? It's a possibility. He says that with a shrug, turning around towards the end of the hallway. I'm going to get lunch. You should do the same. See you tomorrow. He begins to walk away from me, only stopping once before turning the corner. And try not to let Almond get the best of you. Good luck. With that, he walks away, leaving me by my lonesome, with more questions than answers. A lot of different types of eye color people have. Blue, green, and red. The alien's eyes are purple. And it's something that Icarus tried to look into, but he couldn't find any information. So only Ellie has purple eyes. And his mother has purple eyes too. So there's something about Ellie that makes her unique. I think red eyes deal with strength, and the green eyes deal with kind of like the world and the flow of the world. I guess nature, with green eyes, and the blue eyes deal with magic. But Nicholas didn't say anything about purple eyes because there's no information about purple eyes. And the markings on Ellie's body, they're also purple. We got to talk to the king, and he's made Ellie his retainer, so he basically gets to go on to assist the king, be his assistant basically, but just like Icarus and Almond and Sir Roderick. I think that will help Ellie be able to survive, be able to live a decent life without having to work so hard just to survive. Like when he lived with Biscotti, I think instead of him surviving, he could start living, and with the king offering currency and valuables to Mrs. Biscotti, he'll be able to live, and that will calm Ellie. That will calm Ellie's nerves, knowing that Mrs. Biscotti is fine. And Kellis gave us a geography lesson and info about the politics of the continent. The birds were the most dominant group at one time, covering most of the continent, but then the canines had some momentum, was able to push the birds to the north on a tiny piece of land up north, and the canines were able to take over most of the continent, and the cats are on our island, and you got the area in the middle for barbarians, some small islands to the south. So in this world there are canines, felines, and birds. So wonder we'll see some felines or birds in the future. We also got to see how the canine kingdom is divided, the vice royalties and all the divisions of the empire, and the fact that the church have their own reason, and they seem to be quite powerful, they rival the king in power. So that's all for now. That's all I have to say. Thank you all very much for watching. Goodbye.